We are back with another VA Snapshot episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show, where we talk about the specific services that VAs can offer different target markets. Choosing a target market helps you learn about what they do in their business, how they find their clients, how they work with their clients, and what kinds of things they actually need help with in the day-to-day running of their business. After learning the ins and outs of what they do, you can speak much more clearly about how you can support them with your services. Why is this so essential? Because when you truly understand how their business runs, you truly understand how you can help them keeping it running smoothly and growing. That's the key to working with the target market, that you find large groups of clients that all need the same services and support, and it makes getting lots of great clients so much easier. I'm Tracy Daviero, a virtual assistant coach and trainer, and in this series, we're going to dive into 20 or 30 different industries and professions that use virtual assistants, and I'll share what kinds of tasks you can do for them. Then you just need to decide who you can best support and start connecting with them. We are back with another VA Snapshot episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show, where we're talking about specific services that VAs can offer different target markets. Choosing a target market helps you learn about what they do in their business, how they find their clients, how they work with their clients, and what kinds of things they need help with on a regular basis. After learning the ins and outs of what they do, then you can speak much more clearly about how your support can offer them help with their business. Why is this so essential? Because you truly understand how their business runs then and what you can do to help them keep it running smoothly or even help them grow it. That's the key to working with the target market, that you find large groups of clients that you can learn about and they all need the same services and support. It makes getting lots of great clients a lot easier. I'm Tracy Daviero, virtual assistant coach and trainer, and in this series, we're going to dive into 25 or 30 different industries and professions that use virtual assistants already, and I'll share what kind of tasks you can do for them, as well as why clients should be considering outsourcing these tasks to a VA. That will help with your content. And then you just need to decide who you can best support or who you want to best support and start connecting with them. Today, we're going to talk about the services a VA can offer to podcasters. A virtual assistant can be a key asset for podcasters, as many industries, helping them to streamline various aspects of their business, improve their efficiency, time management, professionalism, and reach. Here are several ways a VA can assist podcasters. Episode management and production. The production part of the podcast is usually the most time-consuming piece. There are so many steps to manage with each episode. You can help by planning the podcast episode schedule, including upcoming guests or special series or seasons, and manage all of the sessions for consultations, recordings, and more. You can also help by doing the actual production, like editing. Audio editing isn't that challenging. Or managing the post-production team if somebody else is taking care of that part. Getting the episodes edited in a timely fashion is one of the most important parts to keeping the podcast release schedule on time. You can also create show notes for each episode. This is a really important task that helps listeners figure out if they want to tune into the episode, as well as to provide the relevant links that the podcaster wants to provide to everybody after they listen to the episode. Guest research can also be helpful, finding people to host or be your guest, as well as collecting their background information, all of their links, all of their information. Creating potential discussion topics or questions can help make the episodes interesting and tight. Marketing of the podcast also requires many steps. We want as many eyes and ears on the client's podcast as possible. So creating, scheduling, and posting updates on social media to promote new episodes and back catalog episodes is really necessary, a very necessary service to provide. It's the way we get people to listen in. And once on social media, monitoring, engaging with listeners who are tuning in is another really essential task. Some podcasters can handle this part on their own, but if you are posting the podcast everywhere, as the VA, you can actually alert the client where there is activity that needs to be responded to, so they don't need to check in every single place. There's also a lot of email correspondence that comes with a podcast, especially if the podcaster is hosting guests or being a guest on other people's podcasts as well. You can help to keep their inbox filtered, respond to routine emails and other inquiries, and forward only the necessary ones to the podcaster. Communicating with guests can often become a lot of back and forth as well. And that's where a VA can come in really handy, providing detailed logistics, talking back and forth, collecting the information that the podcaster needs for the episode, and the show notes. And you can also transcribe or repurpose the content from the podcast script into written form for additional content creation or accessibility. Analytics and reporting is another important piece to tracking the performance of the podcast episodes. Are there certain episodes that are doing better than others? Certain topics published on a certain day, a social media platform that's really helping to increase engagement over some of the other ones? All of these metrics can be coordinated by you to help improve the podcast. Uploading the podcast episodes to the website and helping with SEO to improve visibility is another great task to provide within your podcast services. So many people forget about SEO, but it's really important to take that extra step, and it's not that difficult to do. Sometimes time just doesn't allow for it. Helping acquire and manage sponsorship of the podcast can also be something that a VA can provide, especially if the podcast is very popular. Maybe your client even has an online store or some e-commerce that helps them monetize their podcast as well. Getting help with monetization is a great thing because it helps to pay you. Technical assistance and support, whether it's setting up recording equipment or troubleshooting technical issues, doing the actual recordings or editing, or working with the hosting platform. There are so many technical details that go with creating and producing a podcast. Being able to master these as a VA is a really good idea. And finally, along with social media, your client might have a community built around the podcast, and moderating forums, keeping on top of discussion topics, groups, and listener comments is really helpful as well. There are so many things that you can help a podcaster with, and you can choose to do a few of them or do all of them. This is certainly not the complete list, but it gives you a really good idea of some of the things that you can offer as services to a podcaster. Full service podcast management is a growing service because every detail is really important as far as I'm concerned and shouldn't be skipped. And for a weekly podcast or even more frequent ones, that's a really large chunk of time that can be managed much better by having you help. So why should a podcaster look to work with a VA to get their podcast produced every week? Working with a VA offers a range of benefits. There are so many steps that go into properly preparing, producing, and promoting a podcast. And as always, many hands make light work and consistent work. The podcaster can work more efficiently when the VA handles the routine and time consuming tasks, and it frees up time for them to focus on creating high quality content, doing some research, doing script writing, and actually engaging with their guests and their audience. Managing schedules and guests is a large chunk of podcasting time, and having somebody keep it all organized makes sure that important communications and deadlines don't go missed. Facilitating conversations on social media is another really important part of growing your podcast audience into loyal and active fan base or listener base, and having content posted regularly helps the podcaster focus on those connections. Delegating tasks always saves everybody time, but the detail-y type stuff that a VA can do for a podcaster helps so much because there just are so many details every single week or every single episode. Getting that time back can mean a lot to a podcaster. They can use it to do whatever they want, whether that's creating more content, doing strategic planning, guesting on other people's podcasts, or even just personal activities. And as the podcast grows, of course, all of the demands do too. It's a repeatable process, but every single episode, short or long, requires the same number of steps to be done all the time. A VA can help manage that increasing workload. And they don't even just manage the podcast growth, but they can actually contribute to it too. So, do you want to support podcasters? It's a fantastic growing target market. Put together an attractive package of services for podcasters today and start connecting with them. And be sure to tune into the other VA Snapshots in this series to learn more about what other industries might be a good fit for you. Thanks for tuning into this snapshot from the Ridiculously Good VA show. Now it's your turn to choose your target market and get out there to connect with them. Let them know that you understand their business and that you are the best VA to help them with their business needs. You are awesome. You can do it. Now get out there and find your clients. Thanks for tuning in to this snapshot from the Ridiculously Good VA show. Now it's your turn to choose your market and get out there to connect with them. Let them know that you understand their business and that you are the best VA to help them with their business needs. You are awesome. You can do it. Now get out there and get some clients.